You have a question for us?
Yes, I do. Um, you speak about all the tax provisions and what have you. Um, our country was founded on excise and tariffs, and we got away from that. All right, we need to get
yes.
back to that. We had an interest rate of 0.1% for the first 120 years of our country. We need to get back to that. We, all the tax programs and all of the expenditures and all of the this and that y'all are talking about are just, you've thrown them out the window. You know, get back to standard
Yes.
money programs that were set up when our country was put together.
Thank you, Nathan. Congressman?
Nathan, you couldn't be any more on point with regard to the state of our current tax policy. When GE doesn't pay income taxes because they know all the loopholes and can take advantage of that, we've got a serious problem. You know, it would be really nice today if we could sit here and have a conversation about how we're going to take care of so-and-so because we have this surplus over here that we've amassed because we're not paying $440 billion a year in interest. You know, unfortunately, because of our tax structure, because of our spending structure, we've gotten our country in such significant debt that the only thing we can do is make sure we cut spending and look at how we're going to incentivize greater revenues, not through burdensome higher taxes, but through broader tax bases by more economic development. So Nathan, I think you're right on point. If we could go more towards simplifying our tax system, the way this country was founded, the way this country became great, the way this country became prosperous, then I think we're going to be on the right track.
This is a tweet from Jimmy Hines who says, Mr. Ross, exactly how much money would you be willing to cut from defense spending?
I would be willing to cut anything that's obviously unnecessary. We recently, Congressman Allen West, a colleague of mine from Florida, passed a bill in Congress that reduced a significant amount of duplication in the printing of forms and other documents in the Department of Defense. I think what we need to do is make sure that when we go into the Department of Defense, we prioritize our spending to make sure that we are giving our men and women that are overseas in harm's way the best equipment, the best resources possible, and that we do not reduce that, but that we look at other things, whether we are doing defense contracting and determine whether it's necessary and absolutely necessary in terms of the mission. I think we need to look at our presence globally to see what is necessary and what is not necessary, but there will need to be some cuts in the Department of Defense.
We only have about 5 minutes left with the Congressman. I want to tell you that he has authored an op-ed piece calling for a zero-based budget. It is widely available online on his website, and if you're interested in hearing more of his arguments for that case of that, which begins in recent years, your federal government spent $615,000 to digitize Grateful Dead tickets, $442,000 to study male prostitutes in Vietnam, and $2.5 million for a Super Bowl commercial. I'd encourage you to find his reasoning on his website online for this zero-based budget concept. For the Congressman next, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Kevin, Independent.
Yes, good morning. It's just amazing. You know, this guy's up here with the standard Republican talking points. I got to give you guys credit. You're a well-oiled machine. But, you know, you guys are all bought and paid for, and it's just amazing that you guys are just could sit up there with a straight face and say what you say. The bottom line is this. Reason why we're broke is because, like you just said, you just mentioned it, GE and companies, big corporations in this company have bought and paid for you guys, and you guys do what they tell you to do. Right now, like you just said, they have I don't have tax loopholes so I could not pay taxes. You guys aren't trying to address that issue. All you guys are going to sit there and let them run the country into the ground. So, and then the standard line you guys give us is, oh yeah, you know, the corporate rate, the tax rate here is the highest in the world. What are you guys not going to stop until we're working for $1 a day like people in China? Is that what you want for this country?
Thanks, Congressman.
Well, first of all, I take offense to what he said. Personally, I didn't have much to grow up on. I had to put myself through school, pay back student loans, follow my own American dream, borrow money from a friend because a bank couldn't loan it to me. I am the picture of my own success because of my self-determination, not because of a government subsidy, not because of some big corporation. So I take offense to that. And I'm here on my principles. And number two, we keep sending businesses and manufacturing overseas because of our tax rate, because of our regulatory environment. Who is going to be employed in this country? I submit to you that the best thing that we can do for our American people is to allow them the opportunity to be self-fulfilled in their beliefs and their innovation and their entrepreneurship. If we want to see jobs develop here, we need to make sure we create an environment where we have jobs. This isn't a Republican mantra. This is common sense that has made this country great. It is something that I not only believe in, I advocate, and I intend to continue to practice here in Congress.
Russell Springs, Kentucky for the congressman. Bernie's a Democrat there.
Good morning. This is Bernie Brown. I have a problem with the people compares Medicare and Medicaid as the big spender. Well, the Medicare is paid for by the individuals. The Medicaid is being misused in many cases. There are so many people out there collecting this for children they don't have custody of, for food stamps that they sell for their dope that they don't have the custody of their children. I know those government offices do have computers and they can check these things. And in some cases, they're collecting income tax for their children that they don't have custody of and deliberately having children just to get a handout. This is happening all over the country. If we had more inspections on the expenditures, we would have less expense for the government.
Thank you, Bernie. We got to run along here. Congressman, really getting to the heart of waste, fraud, and abuse in the system.
So much so that you remember when they were advocating Obamacare, that they also said that a significant portion of that will be funded through the recovery of waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare. We have yet to see it, but we know it exists. It's something that we need to focus on significantly with harsh penalties to make sure that we put a deterrent out there for people that are committing this fraud. And also make sure then that we can get benefits to those who are truly in need.
Okay, last question for you is what your next 24 hours is going to look like.
We're going to continue to work with the leadership. We're going to continue to reach across the aisle in hopes of reaching a compromise that will allow us to keep government functioning very well, to continue to make our cuts that are necessary to keep this government on a track towards solvency. So the next 24 hours are going to be somewhat intense.
Thank you for being here this morning as part of that, and we hope to have you back.
Thank you.
Congressman Dennis Ross of Florida. We're going to take a couple of telephone calls. We're going to switch guests there at